You have transitioned, ladies and gentlemen. I know the people watching on YouTube are okay, but if you're listening on the podcast, when I say transition, Gary is still Mr. Gary Kroeger.
I am still Mr. Gary Kroeger, but I have transitioned. I'm in Vermont now. I am not in Iowa. I am in Vermont.
I'm talking to somebody in Vermont.
Yes, and it happened so quickly. I will tell a very brief version because I don't think it's interesting at all to most people. However,
two people out there that might be interesting. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
yes. My wife and I have talked about moving to New England for years and years and years and years and years and years. It's always been our wish to be surrounded by more blue states or progressive people. And her parents are here and her daughters are out here. So there's always been this wish. But you know how integrated I've been in Iowa politics and in local Waterloo, Iowa politics. So I've been a very busy person living in a beautiful home. I really liked my life a lot. Mm-hmm. But when my mother died a couple of years ago, the reason to be there was sort of gone, and it became about my wife's focus. Yes. And so every night we would just drink wine and go, oh, here's a fun place, and we'd love it. Then one day she said, I love this place, and basically bought it. And so suddenly I'm like, wait a second, we're going to close in a month.
Oh, I mean, really? What do you mean she bought it? She didn't know she was going to buy it?
Yes, I'm totally making that up, except that you're never really ready because you never know when the date's going to be. And all of a sudden, holy shit, we are now going down this road.
I think it's the hardest thing to do.
It's very hard. And our move was an absolute catastrophe. And movers, and we got swindled and all sorts of things.
I'm not moving because it's just too much of a hassle.
I will never move again. Whoever buys this house has to accept me.
Yeah.
Or I'll be buried in the back, whatever. I'm never moving again.
Yeah.
Never moving in. Never leave the boat. Never leave the boat. So I'm still trying to go back to Iowa to do things. I'm directing a play this winter, The Cottage, and my heart is still there in so many ways. But I'm living here now, and we now travel around Vermont on the weekends. We went to Woodstock, Vermont yesterday.
Wow.
Oh, Kenny.
I bet it's gorgeous, right?
Not only is it beautiful, there are a bunch of progressives in the street, and they're protesting, and nobody flips their finger at them. Everybody in town agrees, so they wave, and it's just the friendliest.
Right. So you feel you feel comfortable.
I talked an hour of politics with people I'd never met before.
Yeah.
We exchanged photos. It was just this progressive.
You're with
love
your
fest.
own.
Yes. And that's sort of making it rosier than it really is. We're in Rutland. Rutland is in Vermont, and there are plenty of progressive people. There's a rainbow flag across the street. But basically, this is a conservative town. My neighbors right there were Trump supporters. Happen to be the nicest two people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
There's this thing, you're an East Coaster. There's this thing about Vermont is that it's okay to have the differing opinions. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Nobody's flipping each other off. Nobody's driving their tractor or their four-wheel drive through yard signs like we're happening back in Waterloo.
Right.
That doesn't happen here. People are very respectful. It's a little bit leave me alone.
Well, I have a question. Are you taking questions?
Yeah, I'm taking questions.
Iowa is a rural community.
Yeah.
Vermont is a rural community.
Very much. Yes.
What's the difference that one rural community has so dissimilar kind of personalities? And I say that because like most big city people kind of the same. People in Chicago and New York and LA, we all kind of have the same kind of thing. But the difference between Vermont politics and progressiveness and Iowa conservatism is stark, given the fact that they're both agricultural rural states.
I think, honestly, it's that New England, there are threads of the revolution still. This is a don't tread on me. Let me have my independence, my space. Government has to work efficiently for us. That's the game in town. Whether we vote red or blue, what matters is that it works.
Yeah. I think it's the fact that Vermont is steeped in our original American history, and Iowa is, that came along later. Yes.
Right.
So that's fascinating. Yeah.
What's on the social agenda for Kenneth? I mean, your awareness of issues, or there's things, or is
Well,
your
okay,
mind changing?
just an interesting thought
All right.
is that the trans athlete who was a part of this major news story where Trump wants to like
Oh, right, of course,
we're
in
not allowed to
California.
have trans athletes compete in women's sports or in men's
Right.
sports or whatever. And listen, my original attitude was I'm 70 years old. I never even met a trans person. I had no idea why this was so dangerous and
Right,
why
right.
everybody's so
The
scared of it.
scourge, the scourge of these behemoth transgender athletes.
I think I've been in bathrooms with homosexuals who I think wanted to give me a blowjob. I've never been assaulted by a trans person who
Right.
wanted to give me a blowjob. And I might could maybe consider, but I don't know. I'm just saying. So, but anyhow, this thing is such a gigantic issue, and I know that the percentages are so small as to what we're
Yeah.
talking about, them competing in athletics. But I do kind of understand some and are sensitive to the issues of some people who would say, this person has physical attributes of a man. And I can't, as a woman with my physical attributes, even though I've worked very hard, I can't compete. I don't know whether she's right or wrong, because physiology and all that science hasn't figured it out. It's not the point. The point is, does she feel comfortable or not comfortable? Because everybody should feel comfortable participating in a sport.
Okay.
And one thing that I noticed that when I was reading about this, A.B. Hernandez, because her school is not far from where I live, is that on her high school team, all of her female athletes support her.
Right.
They're very comfortable. They
Yeah.
have no objection to training with her, running with her, and all that. And I think that's great. And therefore, that school should be allowed because the children and the parents are comfortable with it. And
Okay.
therefore, it shouldn't be an issue. We shouldn't say to that high school. So my kind of thinking was, well, okay, well, maybe if there was a school where a person came in and they were transsexual and the girls were not comfortable with it, that school also would have the right to go, you know what, in this school, our policy is this.
Yes, but what about the rights of that transgender person to compete in the gender that they are?
I think the rights of that transgender person might be infringed. But you will also have the other part of the argument, which is you'll have a female athlete who might say the same thing. Which is actually what that one woman, or that swimmer, did say,
I have a
that her
I,
rights were being infringed.
I have a subtext to this as well. Why do we give a fuck? It's just sports. It's just a
It's
race.
wedge issues, Gary, that has nothing to do with reality. The numbers are so small. This
Yeah.
idea of that this is impacting and children are frightened because of transsexual, somebody who identifies somehow. I don't care. They shouldn't care. There's not it's just not a national issue. It's an issue that a community should be able to determine on their own. And that's the thing. And I'm just saying, I get it when somebody says, okay, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm just
Well,
trying to find a, I'm just trying to find a way so that it can
right.
coexist and we don't all have to be screaming at one another.
And I certainly hear what you're saying, and I hope that I never sound pedantic to anyone. But people weren't comfortable in 1919 with women voting. People weren't comfortable with gay marriage, and they still aren't. But we know that that's the right thing.
It is, but it took time. And what I'm saying is if we could allow communities to continue to do this, then the truth might just spread that it's really not a problem. And I'm
I
saying, and just in the same way that certain communities started to allow gay marriage, and that it took over years that other communities started to allow gay marriage, and now it's like, although now I think they're talking about getting rid of gay marriage, but now it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, okay, it's not so bad, which is what might happen with transsexual too. It takes time, and that's all.
it
And I'm
takes
saying,
time. But I do think that we have to fight as aggressively as we ever had because we're seeing what happens. I thought we had won the gay marriage thing for the most part, or incrementally. I felt that we were winning,
what
and
about
now there's
abortion?
this
What about abortion?
exactly. And now there's this wall of opposition that is taking over, and I think we have to keep chiseling away at that wall.
Oh, you people in Vermont with your progressive Bernie Sanders stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
Bernie
let me
is
ask
my
you something.
senator. How do you feel about that?
How's the pancakes up there in Vermont?
Oh my fucking God, they're good. Kenny, I can't even begin to tell you. Aunt Jemima, all of these kinds of syrups, they're fake. They're fake.
Of
And
course
I
they.
thought they were the real thing. I didn't know there was a difference, really. I just got whatever was the syrup that I got at the grocery store.
Do they still have Aunt Jemima with the black woman with the red and
I,
white
I,
teeth?
and I'm certainly not using Aunt Jemima as a stereotype. It's just
But do they still
syrup.
have that label? Is that woman still, the Aunt Jemima still out
I
there?
really don't know. I
Okay, we'll
don't
check
know.
on that. We'll check on that.
But the syrup that you get at the grocery store is nothing. Real Vermont maple syrup is a religious experience.
Well,
I
can't you
get
just
it
go
now.
outside? Can't you just go outside like they do in the cartoons and just take
You
a
can.
like a faucet and just like shove it into a tree and then just turn on the
Like
faucet?
Bugs Bunny to
Yeah.
theoretically, yes, but you have to distill the sap. You have
Uh,
to, purify the sap. But it comes out of maple trees and they're
yeah.
all over the place and old sugar shacks are all over the place. But you go to any of these little curio shops and you get real Vermont maple syrup,
Uh,
and I am now stocked full of it every even an Eggo tastes good with real maple syrup. Oh
mhm.
God, I love it so much. It, it's
Ah,
like fine wine, but of course
yeah.
it's syrup.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think you and Vermont are going to hit it off really well. You know? But you haven't
Well,
lived through your first winter yet.
no. And it's longer and
Uh,
colder
yeah.
and snowier
Yeah.
than Iowa, which was a pretty brutal winter.
Yeah.
I know.
Let me ask you this. Have you been following at all the P. Diddy case?
Kind of. I
You've been
follow the
looking
P.
at it like
Diddy
I've been looking at
headlines.
it. You're like, you don't want to look, but you kind of look. It's like, "Ugh, I don't want to hear it. And then you kind of hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do. I'm not a scholar on any of it,
Right.
except I'm pretty sure he's an asshole.
Well, I know whatever he is the most, has the most sexual stamina I've ever heard of in my entire life. They say 30 hours. These parties, these people had sex for 30
But aren't they
hours.
doing ecstasy? I mean, there has to be all sorts of stimulants going on.
What do you do for 30? What possible activity have you ever done for
I couldn't
30?
even sleep for 30 hours. I
No, you
can't stay
can't.
up for 30 hours. I
I can't
couldn't
imagine
eat
looking at my
maple
partner
syrup
and
for
go, hey,
30
listen,
hours.
it's been 14 hours we've been at
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
At some point,
no.
you're going to come.
Yeah,
Because
right.
at point, I'm not going any further. You're not coming. I'm not coming. I'm done.
There must be stimulants.
Yeah,
I did ecstasy 30 years ago, and I probably could have gone for 12
30
hours.
minutes,
But
maybe the maximum. Yeah. No, listen, of course he is, but doesn't it show how someone with power and money can manipulate people and then people will do anything for you?
yes. And how you become megalomaniacal. I mean, he had a God complex that he could
Well,
give or take life.
but the fact that people follow, I mean, I really think that if I was walked into the party, I'd go, but did they call him Diddy or did they call him P?
It depends on what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess so. I'd say, hey, Diddy. That's what I call him, Diddy. Hey, Diddy. It's a great party and all, but is there food? Just saying. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, this is great, the sex, but
Yeah.
is there anything else? Is there a
Yeah,
movie?
what else? Because I've been doing the sex for 30 hours now.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I wasn't
Is it
invited to
pizza?
any
You
of
gonna
those
order pizza?
parties.
We're gonna order pizza. What are we gonna do,
Yeah.
Diddy? Yeah, I don't.
Um, yeah, we understand his support for Donald Trump now, don't we? I mean, that's just the same
Well, and the other
mindset.
thing that's
You're
so
above
curious,
all
and
morality.
I know we can't. It's another landmine, but I was in a sauna in San Diego, which will be the title of my new book.
Or maybe our podcast.
Yeah.
Here in Kenny in a sauna in San
I
Diego.
was in a sauna in San Diego. So I go to this place, I swim, there's a great pool or whatever, and afterwards I take a sauna. It's an open sauna, men and women, whatever, and it's great. I enjoy it. I can't make it more than 12 minutes though. I don't know how these people sit in there for an hour.
Or
As soon
30.
as I get hot, I go, it's fucking hot in here.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I'm the same
Anyhow,
way in our sauna. I mean, our hot tub. I can only
oh,
go in there for 5 minutes.
yeah, I know, but it takes you how long to heat it up?
It's on all the time. We have
Oh,
solar. We have solar
oh,
too. It's on
oh, oh,
all the
no, no.
time.
We takes me like 45 minutes to heat it up, and then the kids go in it for 5 minutes. Um, but I was in a sauna in San Diego, and these people were having a conversation, and you should never have a conversation in a sauna, and especially not a political conversation. Okay, but they were. There was this woman, probably in her close to 40, and this young guy who was probably mid 20s, and they started talking about P. Diddy, and they were saying how P. Diddy will never ever get convicted. And the reason that he won't get convicted is because there's so many people, big name people who have participated in this that they don't want it to get out. These big name celebrities and all of this other stuff. And because of that, it's already fixed. They're saying it's fixed. And the woman says, of course it's fixed because Jeffrey Epstein got off. Now, and she said, just like with Jeffrey Epstein, the reason he got off was because all these big names would be in, so they would never convicted him. So I'm sitting there, I kept my mouth shut, listening to all this nonsense. But I said, he didn't. He actually got convicted and died in jail. And the two of them were like, you believe that?
Oh, no. So they think he's still alive, that this was all?
It's all, everything to them. And the entire conversation is distrust and complete conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
That's what they believed in.
Right.
And so I just blew me away. That's really, I think, a real underlying thing is the absolute distrust of media. And the woman's challenged me. Where do you get your information?
Reality?
Reality?
Well, yeah. And conspiracy theorists, it's a way of feeling like you have the information, the knowledge, without having to do any work. There's no research involved in conspiracy theorists. It's all.
It's also just like, I guess the thing about conspiracy theories is now you belong to a club. Now you belong. Right. There's a lot. There's a lot of other people.
Right. That's your information source.
Right. That's like when Trump says, a lot of people are saying.
Right.
Goes,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. Okay.
His gardener, his chef, and the guy that clips his toenails.
There are a lot of people. There are
a lot of people are saying.
But let me ask you something. All the way over there in Vermont.
Yeah.
What's the weather today?
Today it's I don't know, 70 degrees.
Beautiful.
It's very.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to take a walk?
A walk is a possibility. I'm going to go to the grocery store. My car's in the shop. I'm hoping to pick up my car.
Oh, do you know the name of the guy who, like the mechanic?
Yeah.
You're like in a small town. Hey, Gus.
Oh, yeah. No,
Gus.
yeah.
His name Gus?
Yeah. Logan.
Logan. That's a cool name.
It's very European. It's almost like Scotland. Every day has some sun and every day has some rain.
Is he wearing overalls?
I haven't actually met him yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is right out of this is right out of Newhart.
It is out of Bob Newhart. Yeah. And especially if I run a little in. And
I wonder if you're going to meet what were the two brothers?
Daryl and his other brother, Daryl. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. Here's the other side of Vermont. They did come down out of the mountains. Certainly, there are great colleges and universities. There's
By the way, the other side of Vermont is the name of your book.
Right. There are a lot of people who are sort of mountain people. There's some bad haircuts out here.
Oh,
a lot of mullets and shaved sides and
you're gonna find that. You're gonna find that. Yeah.
A little dentistry could go a long way. Now that's not everybody, but they're sort of a blue collar, rank and file. They don't care. It's like, hey,
but
I deliver maple syrup every day, and
I grew up in New York, live out in LA, two big cities, my whole life. Murders happen every day. It's no big deal. Not everybody gets murdered, but we don't care. But you go to a small town in Vermont, and one fucking person gets murdered.
You're going to hear about it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And now you're scared shitless, right?
Wait, well, it's not unlike Waterloo, though. If there's a murder, and they would happen, we didn't change our lifestyle particularly.
But you're in a smaller town now. Like if I was in a really small town and then somebody got murdered, that would scare me. Right now, probably within a mile of me right now, somebody's getting murdered.
For sure somebody.
And I don't feel unsafe.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I expect I would lock my door for a
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Murder in a small town is scarier than murder in the big city.
Well, yeah, you're a bit callous, I suppose. You're used to it.
I just said grew up in New York. It's not callous. It's my nature.
It's your nature, right? You could be the murderer. You grew up in New
No,
York.
I could never murder. Could you murder? I could
I
never,
could never
ever
murder.
murder. Ugh, no. I would get somebody. I could hire somebody.
You could hire some. I've
No.
asked that question of myself. Certainly, if somebody's about to shoot you, and you had the ability to stop them by killing them, you probably would. Or certainly your family.
Totally.
But I couldn't be a serial killer, as intriguing as that may sound to
It's like
somebody.
a
I
job.
could not take a, yeah, it's a job. And you got to hide your whole life. There's so much work involved.
There's
No,
so much
I
to
could
do.
not take a life. I could not take, I'd be a terrible soldier. I would be a
Oh,
conscientious objector. I mean,
well,
and that's
no,
just,
but I don't even think soldiers see each other anymore, Barry. It's like playing a video game. You send a drone in.
yeah, but I don't know what cause I could have that would allow me to go out and kill 6 people today that I'd never met before. Cause of freedom, I mean, fighting genocide, I mean, yeah, but I still think I'd be thinking intellectually about this, and I don't think I would be a good soldier.
Well, thank God I got on high draft numbers and didn't have to go to Vietnam because I would not have been a good soldier. Absolutely not.
Well, you're just a year older than me. I mean, so I was certainly having to think about it
But
when
that
it
I
was
was
over.
actually the one year, 1972 was the last year of the
Right.
lottery.
Yeah.
And that's 1970. When I was 18, I got the lottery, and I had to on my birthday. I had to go down to the
Yeah.
Huntington's post office and register for the draft.
Yeah.
That's what every kid had to do when they were 18
My
years
my
old.
older brother, same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where I spent my birthday. Again, isn't it amazing that those times?
Yeah.
Anyhow, the other point. So we're going to say goodnight. We're going
Okay.
to tell people we're going to try to do this more regular. We apologize
Okay.
for.
We apologize. We apologize.
Gary
Apologize to
had
our wives.
Gary had a lot to do. I did
Yes.
want to. I didn't know whether or not anybody would care, but I do. I know I talked about my. I have an app on my phone for my toothbrush,
Oh
right?
yeah. That's a
I
callback.
yeah. So people know I got a toothbrush, and I opened it up and said, in order to use it, you have to download the app,
Right.
which I did, and it wants notifications and all this. And I'm actually looking for. I can't find it, the app, but so I just got it for Father's Day. I know it's next week, but I got my present early. I got a self-warming coffee cup.
I have one.
And so when I open the box, there's a thing
Yeah.
right up that says, before you use the cup, download the app.
I don't think I had to download an app for my
Yeah, I did.
self-warming coffee
My
cup.
it's the Emma. I now have an app on my phone. Well, here's my toothbrush app. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see.
yeah, I think I've seen that.
No,
Yeah.
that's Sonic Care. And then I can't, and now I have this one, Ember, right here, which
Uh-huh.
is my
That's your
coffee
coffee
cup.
cup. So
Yeah.
what do you use the app for to tell you that your coffee's ready?
It shows how I don't know,
It's
it
too
shows,
hot?
yeah, it's too warm, it's warming up, it's
Really?
charging. I don't
My
know.
light goes off
The
when
only
it's
reason
hot.
it wants it's all these products tell you you have to download the app is they want your email.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
And apparently they get it from Ken Seisler.
I couldn't, and they wouldn't let me use my fucking cup unless I
Okay. All
download the
right.
app.
Well,
You can't. I had to go up to the mug with my phone and
I
pair.
understand. But
That's
I got the
pair my
mug
phone.
without an app, and I have a toothbrush without an app. I'm brushing my teeth, I'm drinking hot coffee, and nobody had to get my email.
Yeah, not yet,
Not yet. All right.
not yet. I mean, every product now is like you
I know.
cannot use it unless you
I know.
pair it with your phone.
Well, and my phone's all fucked up. It doesn't recognize my face anymore, and I can't go in and reprogram it. So I can't use Face ID. I can't get to half of my apps because they were all on Face ID, and it won't open to my face.
Wait a second. This is really scary.
Why? Well, it just seems like a glitch in my phone.
It may be
But
something more. It may be something more conspiratorial.
maybe I don't know.
That somebody is able to like change the face configuration.
Maybe, yeah. I don't
You know,
know.
it's
I
like
don't
Tom
know.
Cruise and he pulls off the mask.
Well, I'll tell you this, Kenneth, and this is a whole can of worms, and we can get into it the next show.
Okay.
I am overwhelmed by I put a writing sample by Gary Kroeger into AI, right?
Yes.
It sounded like Gary Kroeger. It wasn't Gary Kroeger, and I thought it was really good.
Mm.
So I thought, why be Gary Kroeger? This is better. And
Twilight Zone,
to a
baby.
producer,
By the way, I recommend to anybody
keeper.
to watch the show Black Mirror, which is
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror is kind of like Twilight Zone. It's on Netflix or HBO. It's not a good source.
I think I have heard,
I,
or you posted on it. But I am overwhelmed by all of this technology and our reliance on it. And when it goes down, when it doesn't work, doesn't recognize my face, I can't get to my bank account. It's
Gary,
overwhelming.
this is the infancy of technology.
Yes, right.
I have grandchildren. I think I mentioned this before. In 1980, when computers just started to make their way into the offices and whatever and stuff like that,
Yeah.
between that, remember having like you didn't have mobile phones or just the DOS and the way computers work.
Yeah, right.
In that short time, 40 years, it has changed so dramatically that we're doing this, that we're talking to things, and the technology is beyond what I imagined even in 1980. And so my question becomes, when my grandson is 40 years old, what world is he going to be living in?
Because it's also, the advancement now is exponential. It was fast, and now it's faster. And it will get faster. It'll be a day when the technology changes rather than a year.
It's getting scary.
I don't know. A futurist said years ago, by the time that we die, Kenny, they will be able to digitize our memory and our thoughts and our brain to where we don't die. In a sense, there will be an artificial intelligence that is Kenny, that is Gary. And maybe we'll be in a container of some kind. Maybe we become robots.
There are Black Mirror. There's an episode that is exactly like that. So you should really watch Black Mirror. And
I might be watching that tonight.
We're moving very closely to is, okay, so I talk to Alexa over here.
Yeah.
And but now they're going to they're getting advancements with robotics. So now one of the big push, not in the too distant future, they are going to start offering, housekeepers that are robots.
Of course.
That have Alexa.
Like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Like Rosie from the Jetsons is exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're all fascinated by it.
At some point, they're going to start to make the more attractive, right? Aren't they going to get more and more attractive?
Of course they are.
So people are definitely going to be having sex with robots. There's no question in my mind.
Well, they are already. I mean, you can have a AI. I'm totally ignorant because I don't do this, but I know that there are pornographic sites where you can create your perfect sexual partner, and it's three-dimensional.
But that's this. But I'm talking about.
Well, I know you are, but of course that's going to be the reality. Yeah.
Wow.
And instead of, having a fight, you just pull their batteries out.
Wow.
Twist a couple of knobs.
It would be cool if we could see some of that.
We'll see something. We'll see. Figure we have 30 years. We will see something that is astonishing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Life on Mars.
All right, Gary.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the Gary and Kenny Show. We're on all the popular podcast platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We'd love it if you'd go there, watch any of our shows from the past. This one, give us a thumbs up. Give us your comments. Tell us what subtitle you'd like, what you like that we're wearing, our glasses. So, Kenny, until next time, let's get back together sooner than we did last time.
Okay. All right. Have a good day, my friend. Bye-bye.
So long now.